Hi, everybody. Good morning.
Morning.
Oh, a little bit more. Let's try that again. Good morning.
Good morning.
That's better. I know it's a semi-small group today. Must be because of the holiday. Hope everybody had a great holiday. Welcome to today's stakeholders meeting. We're going to go ahead and get started. Hi to everybody at home. Hope you guys are comfy and had a good weekend as well. Let's get started with our very own FGMC. Matt Graham and Jennifer Whitman are going to come up and give you a little bit everything about loans. And they provided that wonderful breakfast for us today. So let's have these guys come up and share with us today. Thank you so much for attending. Big Matt Graham, good to see you, brother.
Love when Matt Graham is here.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Today we just wanted to briefly go into a new product we released today. The first couple weeks will just be a refinance benefit, but then we're going to kick it off. It'll be our fixed rate second mortgages. So we're going to have that for your purchases as well. So with a 680 FICO score or better, in about 2 weeks your buyers will be able to do a first and a second without mortgage insurance. It usually nets them, so you have a first mortgage at 80% and a second mortgage at 15%. They only have to put down 5%, and the net is usually 80 to 100.
Recording in progress.
Oh, thank you. The net is usually about 80 to 120 bucks in the favor of the client to not have the mortgage insurance doing that fixed second. And the little tease I told everyone about is it looks like as of this morning, we're going to offer 100% financing on that product as well to the high FICO borrowers, so they can go do an 80% first, a 20% second, and they don't have to put any money down.
So we're back to 100% financing?
Yeah.
Ooh. Is that going to cripple the mortgage industry and real estate, and then we're going to have a foreclosure crisis again?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. And I'll just give you my 2 cents on the market. The difference between what's going on now and what went on 15 years ago is there's actually buyers in the market now. There wasn't. In 2005, it started to slow down the number of people that were actually going to be first-time home buyers, and it bottomed out around 2000 and 2011, and magically that was the bottoming out of the housing market as well. So there's plenty of people, plenty of buyers that'll buoy that. If there ever is a correction, it's not going to be major, because when those prices drop a little, there'll be plenty of first-time home buyers to gobble the market and buoy the values.
So right now with the interest rates hiking up and kind of seeing values stabilize, there's also the buyer demand starting to come down now. A little bit. We just ran some numbers this morning, and it came down a little bit more than we expected. So there's more buyers on the fence or just simply cannot purchase because of the higher interest rates. And then already, I mean, this has only been going on for a couple months. Already, you bring out 100% financing, so the people that can't afford a down payment can go and buy a house now, which means roll the clock forward 2, 3, 4 months from now, we can get more buyers back into the market to buy when the inventory levels are up. So this is a good thing. I'm surprised it's coming out so quickly. So I can just go buy a house, no money down, 80-20 loan. My interest rate's a little bit higher, but I didn't have to put all this money down. And most likely, if the market's at 6,000 homes, the sellers are going to pay my closing costs. So I could
might get it at zero.
I literally can buy a house with $0 in. And we've done that in the past, and that's what the near future is going to start to look like. I'm predicting that now.
Yeah, and one of the things we've seen with rates over the last 2 or 3 weeks, they have started mounding over and settling a little bit. I do believe we have one more run up, just because we're coming off of inflation numbers to start last summer that were lower, and so the numbers you're going to see for inflation that aren't rising are really just kind of phony, because then we've got some hot numbers that we're going to be replacing, and so the year-over-year averages, we'll see one more tick up in inflation. People will get emotional. We'll have a big market sell-off again, and we'll probably see one more jump in rates, and then that probably will be the end of it as
that'll
we head
get us
into
to
a recession.
And that'll get us to the end of the year?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think in the fall, that's when we'll be settled where we're going to be.
Okay.
And we're going to head into a recession, and recession is good for interest rates and good for housing. Historically, the only market that was really bad for housing, and the recession was caused by housing. So that one you can kind of just pull from your data. I'm bullish on the housing market. I think we have a few more really good years in us, left in us. Will there be some corrections here and there? Yeah, but they'll be short-lived, and then we'll just take off again. But it'll be healthy growth. You know, we need to be at 4 or 5% appreciation. That's a good market. 5, 6, 7,000 homes on the market would be great, so that, you know, we always talk about it. In Vegas, over the last 20 years, the seller or the buyer has held the hammer. There's rarely a nice, warm market where if you're listed right, you sell. If you offer right, you buy. It's just always been here that, you know, somebody's taking advantage of the other side.
Yeah, I entered the real estate market in 2000 and I'd say 4, and since then I've never seen just like a nice, long, stable market with buyers and sellers doing what they need to do. It's been up, down, and we're trying to correct, you know, our businesses along that way. So a nice, healthy, stable market's going to make it nice and easy for you guys as agents, you know, to kind of be around that type of landscape. So I'm excited to see you go through it, because a lot of the newer guys jumped in a year or two ago. It was one of the roughest markets we've seen. Even though we're successful in it, it was tough. So the grinding you've done is going to really pay off as we shift into the new market.
Yeah, and I want to touch on what you mentioned about the recession. We showed a graph last week that went all the way back to the 80s and showed every single recession and what it did for the housing market. Other than the 08 market, every single one of them, home prices appreciated. So when you have the client saying, hey, this is going to mean we're in another bubble, there's going to be a housing crash, well, historically, that's not the case. So keep educating your clients.
Even the one where they dipped, it was 1 point.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
one other one
1991.
dip.
But
One
if
dip.
you take California out of that market, it would eliminate the yeah.
It would have been positive.
Yeah, so, and that is it. Rates are lower during a recession. Your buying power is more. Payments on your credit cards are less. Payments for cars are less, because that's what that Fed rate is the short-term rate, and they'll adjust down aggressively when we go into a recession, because it'll never be like it was in 07, 08. They learned their lessons. There was, you know, dozens of rate hikes in a short period, and Greenspan, although he got a lot of credit for being a good Fed chair, choked on it, and he was as responsible for the crash as anybody. So,
Any questions?
oh, and this real quick, this is an in-house product. So there'll be some lenders out there that are saying, oh, we offer it, but, you know, they might be doing the first, and then they're going to be brokering out that second. This is our money, our guidelines, in-house. You know, I mention it all the time. We're owned by PIMCO, you know, the largest mortgage-backed securities trader in the world. So we have tons of money, so we can come out with these products a little bit ahead of the game, and they're our products, and it's nice to have them in-house because you have control.
Somebody just asked a question. They wanted to know, on an 80-20 loan, and we're doing 100% financing, what do the interest rates usually go up? How much more? Because they're not going to be the same as
No,
what
you're
the
gonna see a quarter bump on your first rate, and for having a second behind it, and then you're probably going to be about 9.5 with a point on the second. But if you don't put any money down, it's an infinite return on your investment. So people that are sharp, or we know lots of people. I mean, all of us, you know, Scott, JD, Yvette, Jen, we see people all the time that make a lot of money that don't have any money, and so this will be a product that gets them into the game.
That's awesome.
So,
Cool.
I have one. I just want to say.
How long for the credit requirements to drop?
I'm a bull and Greg's a bear, in case you haven't noticed. No, but I don't know that you're going to see, like, we'll be able to go to, you know, a 700, we can go to 95 already with this product. So, and we'll be able to do 95% cash out. So if you have a client that wants to buy an investment property, but they don't want to touch that first mortgage that's at 2.75%, but they'd like to take $150,000 off their house to buy an investment property, they can just do that portion as a second. So what you do is you let them know, you know, get a hold of one of these 4 professionals. They'll punch it into the calculator and blend their rate. But, you know, if you have somebody that's got a $300,000 first at 3%, and they take $100,000 off at 8.5%, you would say, all right, so 75% of 300, 2.25, of the 3% is 2.25, and then we'll just say 9, and the other third, so you're at 5.25 on your blended rate, and if you do a cash-out refinance right now, you'd probably be closer to 6 with some points, so it's still saving them money.
A lot of options on the table that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
That's what I was gonna say.
Well, you stole,
sorry.
Took it right out of my mouth.
well, you stole Jen's thunder, but
Totally did.
That was from Jen.
But that's okay. I'll allow it from you. It's okay.
any other questions, guys?
Normally I don't talk much, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Well, you do yourself a favor. You got any buyers on the fence, don't know really what to do, sit down with one of our loan officers and get it figured out. There's a lot of good products out there. So one big clap for these guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
Appreciate
for
it.
breakfast.
Breakfast is delicious.
Oh, thanks. All right, so Kevin Wool's not here today, but I just want to give him a nice little shout out. So first, home warranty. Remember, you get free seller's coverage for your listing. So at your listing appointment, this is part of your marketing, right? Use this as a tool in your pocket. Hey, one service I'm going to offer you is a free seller's coverage if you don't already have one. You're just going to send Kevin Wool an email with the address, your name, and the client's information. He's going to slap that on as soon as it goes live on the market, and it will be on there until close of escrow. So make sure you utilize that with Kevin and make sure that's on your to-do list.
And the cool thing is about it with the seller's coverage, if I'm the buyer and we close escrow and something pops up and breaks at the house, they will cover pre-existing issues why it was listed for that 1 or 2, 3 months. So it's actually a really good incentive for the buyers to keep that home warranty in place while you're closing escrow.
Yeah, and on your MLS sheet and agent remarks, you can put that the home warranty has been started with Kevin Wool and put his phone number in. So if the buyer chooses just to add on to it, it's already set up for them.
And so the discounts with Annie Sawyer over at Landmark, your First American Home Warranty, any of those agent remarks, you guys can see on my listing. So say, Amy got a new listing today, she can go in, copy paste my agent to agent remarks and drop it into hers. All the incentives apply, and then you guys got that verbiage for when buyers agents are looking at your MLS sheet, they can see what's really going on over here and how we're promoting it.
Yep. Any
little
questions
tool.
on seller's warranty? Nope.
It's an easy one.
It's an easy one. All right, Miss Annie Sawyer, come on up from Landmark / Meadows.
Yeah, Landmark / Meadows on your contracts,
What do
guys.
you have for
Good
us
morning,
today?
everyone. Hope you had a good holiday. I just wanted to say just a friendly reminder to always send commission instructions to the escrow officer before closing, just because I cannot send your guys' commission out until I have that, just so the file is in compliance. If you guys utilize the TCs, they do a fantastic job. But if you don't use them, just always make sure to send them over to us before we record.
And you got to have the transaction fee on there as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Are there
Yes.
some other title companies don't put their the transaction fee on their commission statements?
Okay. If that happens, you guys can always just cross it out or just tell the escrow officer to correct it.
Okay.
Easy fix.
Easy enough? All right, cool.
Oh, and I also, let's talk about power of attorney. I know you and I are working on right
Yes.
now. So if you have, let's say, a listing, and it's the daughter or son that wants to sign on behalf of their parents, and they don't have a power of attorney in place, Annie can get that started. Do you want to talk about what that process looks like?
Yes, so we have to have an escrow specific power of attorney, so I do have to know about it ahead of time. It can't just typically be their own. And then on top of that, if the property is in a trust, most trusts do not allow a power of attorney. If there is a trust involved, we have to get that approved by title. I've only seen one of them approved. So we're working on one right now. We're just going to have the mom sign it, and then the listing can go live. The daughter can sign on behalf of the mom on all of the contracts and escrow paperwork.
So that power of attorney specific just for that transaction.
Yes.
And then you have the parents sign off, and then the children sign off. Then it goes to you notarized. Once you have that there, then we can start filling out the paperwork going forward for the closing.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
that seems simple enough.
Yeah,
Is
super
there any
simple.
hangups? Is it just that easy?
There's a hang up if, so for instance, say the mom that we're having is like in the hospital under a coma or something, there's doctor notes that have to be involved and stuff like that. But if, she's just going out of town or is traveling, that's totally fine. So I guess if they're just mentally not sound,
Right.
that's an issue.
Yeah, that can come up. Amy had a quick question?
So on the contract language,
That's how my escrow documents will be reflected, and that's how the power of attorney will have to sign. As far as your guys' contracts, I'm not sure what's compliant for you guys. I'm not too picky about it, but that's how my documents have to be reflected.
Yeah, you're gonna wanna put the seller's name / you can put POA and then whoever's signing next to it. And then where all the signatures are at, it could still say the seller's name, but it also has to say /POA and then whoever's signing it. And that should get us through.
And again, this is the power of attorney for this particular transaction. This
Correct.
is not to say, because there are power of attorneys, right? I can make decisions on behalf of so-and-so at any given time for anything.
Good question,
This
yeah.
is specifically for a real estate transaction.
Yes, just for liability reasons on our behalf, we have to have a specific power of attorney for this property address, for this escrow.
Yeah, so you can't take that to Bank of America and cash and liquidate your funds of your elderly grandmother or something like that, or mother, yeah.
Yeah, and in our case, the seller who's the mother is actually in Virginia, so all Annie has to do is send a mobile notary to get that POA signed by her.
And it's 2 signatures. You know, it's super simple.
Yeah. Any questions on POA?
Awesome.
All right.
All right, one
Thanks,
big clap
Andy.
for Andy, guys. Thank you so much. Everybody's got the holiday hangover. I can see it on your faces.
I
It's
know.
okay. It's all right.
We do too.
Yeah.
We're coming out of it. All right, so just a reminder, our own Matthew Castellano is our new in-house photographer, so you can find all his information on Elements. I just wanted to remind you, he offers some really great prices, so you can find his information there on Elements. All right, so we want to highlight our CSU leaderboard, and we're going to highlight the number of open houses month to date.
Yeah, it was a big weekend for open houses. With the inventory coming up, you guys saw the relief and jumped in right away. So I can't even believe this is the right number. Maybe it's a typo, but
It's
Christian,
not.
you had 6 open houses
Woo!
in to month to date. Jeremy had 6. We have Gary just locked out 4, Peter did 4, and Stephanie did 4. So that's a huge number of open houses. I want to congratulate you guys.
Yes, and I love when we come in on Monday morning and there's maybe only 1 or 2 sign sets left in here, so
Yeah.
it's great to see that.
And I got all the feedback I've been getting is pretty good. You know, some people are coming in with agents, some are not. You guys are kind of building your pipelines and working on those leads. So make sure you're following up on the leads. You have them in your KV core for nurturing. You're doing some drips. You have some tasks to call and follow up. Remember those days that we used to do that? We always made sure we were following up and on the phones.
Start calling them as well.
There
You
you
can
go.
do that. Jeremy, I'm sure you got 5 people from an open house that any of these LOs would be more than happy to call,
They'll even call twice.
and they'll even call twice.
Yeah, when it comes to open houses, it's all about the follow-up. That's where a lot of agents, fall a little short. So the next morning, and actually the day of, when you get home and load them in your KV core, send them that nice message, email, text, phone call. Do it again Monday, do it again Tuesday, do it again Wednesday, okay? So you want to have your follow-up really strong. Or else why are you there?
Well, and that's when they're still emotional. Get them,
Yeah.
reach back out to them while they've still got that feeling from being in that home. It's important. You got to strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, keep the
Exactly.
momentum going, right? The
You don't want
emotional
another
side of it.
agent to slip right in there.
Exactly.
All right, so good job, everyone. I love that open houses are becoming a little more available for all of you.
Awesome.
All right, so our own Zach Dunmeyer got an awesome review just a few days ago, so I wanted to highlight that. Helpful, kind, understanding, and extremely patient. We looked for more than 6 months before we found what we wanted, and he didn't rush us at all, but helped to guide us in different directions. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So one big clap for Zach.
That's awesome. He nurtured that client for 6 months and got him under contract, and a commission check came in. So great job to Zach.
Yeah, and for them to still feel so lovely about him after such a long period says a lot about how he handled that transaction. All right, reminder, book club tomorrow at 2 p.m. It's going to be in the training room. Kira and Zach Hammer are taking lead on that, Atomic Habits. I know Andrew's read that book, has said a lot of wonderful things. So if you can, even if you haven't read it, show up in person or via Zoom, and you'll get all the good highlights. All right, so I want to go over a little tip. How many of you here have worked with new construction homes? All right, so a good amount. If you haven't, I think these tips will be really helpful for you. So if you have a client that specifically wants new construction homes, and you're thinking, gosh, how am I going to send them these? How do I find them? It's all laid out for you in the MLS dashboard. So when you log into the MLS dashboard, you're going to see the NHS Pro. And once you log in there, you'll see on the next slide, the criteria search bar is going to pop up. So you're going to put which zip code, their price points, number of beds, all that good stuff. And you'll see on the next slide, it's going to pull up everything available based on your criteria. And you'll see on the top, it says save/email listing. So just like you create a search on the MLS for regular residential homes, you can do that here. So it will keep updating your clients. They'll send them all the ones for the day that you found and reoccurring that pop up. And then I want to go over some tips on how to deal with new construction. So let's say they say, hey, Jeremy, I found this one and I want to go take a look at it. What should be the first thing you do? Well, you're going to want to contact that sales rep. And when you do that search bar on that dashboard, it's going to give you that rep's information. So just give them a call. One of the first things you're going to want to ask them for is the lot map and which lots are available and what the lot premium is. So this is how builders are working right now. They're going to give you that lot map, and they're going to only show maybe 2 or 3 are actually available at this time. Maybe that's lot 32, 33, and 34. Your next question should be, what are those lot premiums? Because whatever the base price is of the house, right now in this market, you can bet that there's probably going to be a lot premium as well. Those lot premiums are dictated by the builder based on market, their demand, based on views, right? So if it's overlooking the strip, that lot premium might be as high as $150,000. Some are as low as $10,000, $40,000. They're just kind of all over the place. So you want to have an idea on what those lot premiums are. You're going to take that map to your client, and you're going to make sure that they're interested in one of those lots, okay? Then the next thing you're going to want to ask is, how is that builder accepting offers? Every builder is doing it different. Some are still on a lottery. Some are first come, first serve. Some will give you a specific form for you to fill out, okay, to put your offer in. It's just a one-page document. It's nowhere near as intimidating as an RPA, right? So that's all you're going to fill out. So you want to know how they're accepting those offers. And then, of course, you want to know what your agent co-op is. Again, they're all over the place in regards to your co-op as well. Some are doing a flat fee. Some are doing 2%. I'm starting to see 3% pop back in, which is good for us. And then you're going to want to ask them if you can pre-register your client over the phone. Most builders will allow you to do this. I highly recommend it, because what you don't want is your clients to be driving around on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, pop in and register themselves, because that means you're out of the picture, okay? So ask them if you can pre-register them over the phone.
That happens all the time.
It does.
Please make sure, if you have a client that's looking for new construction, they do not go into the sales office without you or a duties owed BBA and a business card. And they can go, I'm being represented. I wanted to take a look. My realtor is going to meet me here at another time, but I am represented. Because if they just open the door, look around, and then sign that little sign-in sheet, your $10,000 commission is gone.
They will not backtrack it at all. So it's very important. So let your clients know that even if your clients don't mention new build construction to you at all, still mention it to them, because I've seen it happen to some of our agents. They're like, I didn't even know they were interested in new construction. They went to look on their own, they signed that registration form, and they ended up buying with that builder.
And then they're going to ask you, well, I know you're not getting a commission, but I love you. Can you represent me? Because I don't feel comfortable being in a negotiation process with the builder without having representation. Then you're sitting there like doing the whole transaction for free and giving your clients advice and try to represent them. You could possibly ask for some services on a transaction fee or something, but still that $10,000 might be gone.
Yep. And go ahead.
Nobody is more taken advantage of than someone that goes into a new home without a real estate agent, because we still sometimes do those loans and they get nothing and they have to like it, because that's just the way it is.
Yep.
They get run over big time.
I tell my clients too, because I've had a client in the past go, well, why, is it okay if I don't use it? Because can't they just give me the commission that they were going to give you and give it to me? The answer to that is simply no. And I remind them, the builder has this built into their P&Ls, right? So that commission is going somewhere, and it's not gonna, if it's not to me, it's their own sales rep or the builder's gonna keep it. It's not gonna be an incentive to you. And then I remind them, those sales reps are employed by who?
Builder.
The builder. So whose interest is at their heart? The builder, right? So I remind them, you want me as your agent to make sure that you are getting everything you need and when you need it, okay? So, and that commission form, that commission, if it doesn't go to me, it's not gonna go to your buyers, so make sure they know that it's already built in to the P&L. So all we're doing is, go ahead.
Asked on that again, generally what the agent co-op is, what are we seeing?
I'll take that one.
Sure.
So, Craig, what is the agent co-op that we traditionally see? Well, for the last 2 years, we've seen co-ops go all the way down to 0. I've seen flat fees for $500. We've seen a lot of 1% and 2% co-ops out there. And if you were lucky, really, really lucky, you'd get anywhere from 2.5% to 3%. I don't even have to look into the new construction MLS right now, and I can guarantee you 2% and below, I don't want to guarantee, 2% and below are probably a thing of the past. With the inventory coming up and with standing inventory, the builders are going to go right in and start offering 2%, 2.5%, 3%. And if it gets really ugly and they have standing inventory, they'll go up to 4 to 5% commissions. And watch when you see that. That'll really be something that's happening now. Kate, you're shaking your head. Did you see that already?
Yeah, I already got an email from
4.5 commission on that co-op. And are they offering your buyer some incentives as well to purchase that property? What are some of the incentives?
just same thing with the closing costs at 2%. Just due to a lot of cancellations, so that's why I have received a lot of notification from the builders send it to me directly in order to offer my incentive.
So there you go. She's getting emails from builders saying, come buy right now. We're giving your 2% closing cost to your buyer and a 4.5% commission to you. Please come buy our properties. The builders, when they're in a market like this, they cannot stand on their inventory. They need to keep moving it and moving it at all costs. And for them to cough up another $30,000 to your buyer, they don't care. They just want the asset moved and off their books so they can go start working on the next project. So new construction is definitely making changes right now. Matthew.
At the end of each quarter, they get ultra aggressive because everybody above the salespeople, 90% of their income depends on hitting their quarterly and annual numbers in the new build market. So as things get canceled right now, end of June, they'll get super aggressive for the next couple weeks to get everything moved that gets canceled. And then
Makes
at the
sense.
end of September, when most of their fiscal year ends, they'll get even more aggressive.
Hence the emails and conversations Kate is having.
Yep.
End of the quarter goals. Mary, you have a question?
Most of the pre-registers are only lasting 30 days, so make sure you're doing that.
The pre-registration's only going for 30 days, so then you got to re-register your clients. That's a sneaky move by the builder, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah, and I also want to highlight, it is very common for builders to have their own in-house lending company and title and escrow, and they typically offer a really hefty incentive. So if they're ready working with our partners here, come back to our partners and say, hey, here's what they're offering them. Can you match this?
I got a question for Matt. If I'm a buyer and I go to a builder and I work with their lender, what am I going to see different on their settlement statement opposed to yours when I'm like kind of figuring out which loan I want to go with?
A ton of costs that eat up most of those incentives that they're offering. The other thing is when you get some leverage on a builder, you can usually push on them and say, I'm going to bring my client out, but they want to use their lender, and at least push on them to say we'd like the same incentive if they use their lender. And if they're right for the picking, so to speak, you can get that done. And when these markets start to shift and become more of a neutral market, you'll get those things from the builder.
And Jen and I had a client back in January with a new construction home, and they offered her a $15,000 incentive. But like you said, there's some hidden costs that come out of that from the top end. And our client said, absolutely not. I love Jen Whitman so much that $15,000
Impressive.
can kiss my butt. And so we ended up using Jen, and I pushed back on the builder and said, hey, I have this client, but we're using our own lender.
And what are some of the costs that are on the builder, with the builder's loan officer, what are some costs that I would want to look out for if I was one of the newer agents kind of sitting there?
Points for a rate that really don't require points, a rate that may be a quarter or 3/8 higher, which is going to generate them another $6,000 or $7,000 in premium that they're going to keep. You'll see an admin fee on there that might be, $2,000 or $3,000 instead of $1,500 or $1,700, which is normal. But $500,000 home, a point or a point and a half, you're talking $5,000 or $7,500 right there, and then another $120 extra in payment for 30 years.
And what about origination fees?
Yeah, and they may have a point in origination and a buy down point, which they don't need.
And processing and underwriting fees.
That may be bigger than
They
ours
start
as well.
to stack quick,
Yeah.
right?
Apples to apples. Get a quote from them if they're trying to be aggressive and keep it, and we'll take it. We'll take a stab at it. And I tell my clients, if they're giving you a good deal, I'll let you know. Or if they're giving you a good deal and I'm like marginal on whether I compete, I'll help you put the screws to them and get you an even better deal. So either I can take the deal and match it, or they're going to give you something outrageous. You'll find out how motivated they are to do that loan. The biggest thing with builders is they want control over that loan for the reasons I was speaking about earlier. They are bonused and make their money off hitting those projections, and they get real aggressive on doing it. But once you close a couple deals, like we have a couple LOs that do, they have 5 or 6 builder deals in the pipeline at all times, because the builders see their name, they've had success with them, and they're good. Just, hey, get any pushback, they'll be like, okay, you go ahead and take it. So
Yeah, and this is really good information for y'all to hold on to, because now you're going to know the right questions to ask, because when they dangle that $15,000 incentive carrot, you're like, great, but Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, guess what? We're also going to keep talking to our lender, do the apples for apples, and we're going to see what works best for you at the end of the day. Great.
Amy.
And you want to make sure that you get your percentage in writing. Remember, this is real estate and nothing exists until it's in writing. I've attended several classes where the realtors didn't get that in writing. They had just a promise in the air from that new home builder, and several realtors have had to sue these companies. Well, who do you think is necessarily going to win? Who has the deeper pockets? So make sure you get that percentage in writing.
Good call.
Good tip.
Lenders do that? Builders do that?
And I also want to give you some advice. The first time I took clients a few years ago to look at a new construction home, I was seeing it for the first time with them. And when you walk into these model homes, they put all the bells and whistles, and I caught myself oohing and awing with my clients, and halfway through I'm like, oh my gosh, I must sound like such an amateur. I should be the one that's bringing knowledge to them. So I do advise you go take a tour, ask the sales rep all the questions you need. That way when you bring your clients, you really and truly are guiding them through that model home and not just oohing and awing. So I learned my lesson a few years ago when I did it for the first time. So highly suggest you go get all the information before you take your clients there.
Good info.
Yep. Any questions? New construction homes?
That's a no.
All right, so we got some Resolution Realty updates. We are, me, Aaron, Andrew, and Buell are heading to Omaha, Nebraska tomorrow through Saturday. So if you need us, we will only be mobile, probably closer to the evenings of the day. But we've been asked to talk on a panel. Aaron's going to give an awesome presentation at this huge real estate conference that is presented by Elite Real Estate Systems. And we are also going to be on a panel too alongside. So we're super excited.
Yeah, and we're also going there to learn a little bit too. There's going to be a couple hundred brokers, team owners, you name it. So there's going to be a big event for like 3.5 days that we're going to be attending. So hopefully we'll come back with some new information for you guys and stuff we can implement here at the office. I always get excited about heading out to these trips and powwowing with all the top producers in the country.
Yes, super excited. Yes, Amy?
Will that panel be part of the ERS recordings that we have access to, so we can, if not in current live time with you guys, then be able to see it later?
I am not sure.
It's a good question.
Same thing online. I thought Jeff mentioned something about them wanting to be able to.
He has. We've done, like I recorded a podcast with him the other day, and he said this is coming out after the event to talk about your presentation, and he's doing that with a lot of the other groups. So I'm assuming, I'll find out for you, I'm assuming they're going to probably send out some recordings about the event and who came up there.
Great.
So cool, we'll let you know.
And do you want to talk about QuickBooks?
Yeah, let me talk about QuickBooks. It's almost as boring as insurance. But come on, I can make jokes like that. So Ryan, our operations manager, and myself have decided to pay you faster. In paying you faster, all we need you to do is when you receive an email notification from us, it's going to say, hey, fill out this W-9, fill out your checking and routing information, and it's going to zap it back to us. So when we pay commissions, it's going to go to you even quicker than it is right now. But the cool thing about it is it's also going to have your own profile. So you can log into your own QuickBooks. It's all completely free. And don't be scared when I say QuickBooks. It's not being a CPA or anything. It's going to have your W-9 in there that you originally signed. And then at the end of the year, all you guys ask for your 1099s. Well, it's right there. It's a click of a button. And then a lot of you guys go, hey, how much money did I make this year? Can you tell me in advance because I'm talking to my spouse or something? Well, all of your income is going to be listed right there. Another cool feature that it has is every deposit that we've sent you through that course of the year is going to be itemized on a ledger. So you can see every single check that comes in or every commission check you receive. You don't have to log into your bank account and start funneling through it. It's all itemized right there for you. And for credit card authorizations for the monthly fees, that's already listed there too. So you can use all that information daily, weekly, monthly. It'll help with your CPA when you're doing your taxes. And if you want to file your taxes right there in QuickBooks, you can immediately just set it up and it'll pull all the information out and put it in your taxes so you can file. I think it's pretty cool. It's back office solutions, but for you guys, that's what we're going to be setting up.
To get paid faster, how dare you, Aaron?
I know. We'll announce it. We're probably about 2 weeks from actually starting this, which all we're going to do is send you an email. We need you to fill out the info, and we want you to do it as quick as possible because we got to go through the entire agent roster. So we'll announce when it's going to start, and then we'll follow up with you guys to make sure it's getting done. But it's literally like 4 minutes. You're in and out, and you don't got to worry about it again. Sonia, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was wanting to know if that could actually be merged with our original QuickBooks. Like, I have a personal QuickBooks.
I don't know. Possibly. Ryan, do you think we could merge her QuickBooks with the new profile?
It is possible to merge profiles, but I don't know how your personal profile is set up. But within what we're going to send you, you can track your expenses, you can track invoices, you can track your mileage on your car. So if that's what you have, then it's probably the same platform. You can probably merge.
Okay.
That's
Call QuickBooks and they'll walk you through.
Yeah, and we'll find out too. Ryan's in deep training right now, and when that goes live, we'll have the answer for that. And for anybody that didn't hear, we can track mileage, invoices, paying vendors, all that's expenses, anything that you guys do as a real estate agent, independent contractor, you can have everything housed in there. Are there any questions on that right now?
All right.
All right, pretty easy stuff.
Aaron's going to go over a few market stats for you on where the inventory stands today.
So quickly, not a huge market watch, but we just seen the inventory increase again, and it was a big week. We're officially at 1.4 months supply. Okay, we weren't at 1.4 months supply. It's been about, what, a year we're looking at?
November 2021.
So we're climbing, and we're climbing quick. We were under a month's supply just 2 months ago. Now we're at 1.4 and climbing. And I'll give you some numbers on month supply in case you're not familiar with that. The next slide is the total new listings. We just hit a high point. So the highest point we had was 1,416 new units. That was the peak back in August. Right now at 1,430, it was the biggest jump we've seen. So this graph is showing you that inventory is skyrocketing. So that's total new listings with back on market cancellations hit 1,430 for a week. That was huge. Now if we move over to total inventory, we have 4,169 homes on the market, which is pretty much double from the inventory we had in the last 2 months. We went from 2,000 homes to 4,000 homes, and now 3,306 of those homes are single family. So it's coming back. Sonia, what did you say the inventory was going to be by the end of the year?
I was going to ask her that too.
Wait, ask her?
I would say
By August, you said 3,600?
Single family, so we're at what, 33?
33, I don't think you're going to hit it. I think it's going to be a tad bit higher. So we should take a projection of what the inventory is going to be like by the end of the year if we're pacing at this amount. So maybe that'll be a new little team goal we'll set, or challenge we'll set up. You interested? All right. All right, inventory's climbing, so let's look at total price reductions. We hit an all-time high about a week ago. We had 637 price reductions. That was insane because we usually average 200. We went to 600. Now they came down. It's only been 1 week, but you think if everybody's price reducing will probably stabilize a little. The price reduction should start to come down for the next few weeks because people are getting a little bit more, they're coming into reality on what their list price should be, and they're hearing what's going on. So that was good to see.
Yeah, and if you're a good agent, you're bringing this intel with you at listing appointments to set that expectation early. So we're not seeing your clients having to do this later on.
Exactly. Very good information for listing appointments, guys. So let's go to sold, under contract, and cancellations. Good thing about cancellations, it's steady. We're not seeing big jumps any way, shape, or form. So buyers are closing on their transactions, which is a good thing. Something that I don't love right now is the under contract in red. The under contract is showing a decline right now, which means the buyers are not pacing with the new inventory. So the buyer demand's starting to go down, the listing inventory is starting to go up. That's creating more inventory to the market. And we went from averaging 1,200 units going under contract per week to 930. So that's a big difference. And that week over week, as you watch these changes, we can go from 4,000 to 5,000 to 6,000 homes pretty fast. I mean, we went from 2 to 4 in a couple months. Will we be sitting at 6,000 homes by the end of the year? I think that's a reality for us to look at too. So it's good, it's cooling off. We got that sign of relief and just wanted to share those numbers with everybody today.
Any questions?
Bring on some market condition questions.
Well, if I could just comment something, in January, I don't want anyone to be panicking because in January there were 955,000 homes on the market in the United States. It was the lowest level percentage-wise per population in 20 years. And at that point there was about 20 million fewer households. Our population percentage is about 0.7% of the population of the country. So if you look at that, back then we should have had 955.7, 6,685 listings if we were as skinny as the rest of the country. So we've got a ways to go to even get to where the rest of the country was when they were in panic mode 5.5 months ago on the number of listings. So it's still 1.4 months is nothing. It's a great market. And so I want there to be 5, 6, 7,000 homes on the market so that our 250 buyers out there that our LOs have pre-qualified can actually get a home.
Yeah,
So.
unless you're on 275 and below, there's still only 7 properties on the market. So Hannah's got 5 people that are 275 and below. She's so mad right now. Sorry, that's only one thing about new inventory that I am not seeing. I am not seeing anything 300 and below coming on the market. The values are just risen. That's what our new average home median price was $475. It's going to go to $460. It's going to go to $450. It'll go to $420, and it's just going to probably stay right there. But that's a long way away from $300 or the $180 when I started real estate.
Wow, isn't that something?
Yeah.
Wow. All right, so this week we have AMA hour today at 2 p.m. We're not going to have it the rest of the week because we are going to be in Omaha. Also, there is no ERS this week, so you're off the hook for tomorrow morning. Wednesday, headshots, 10 a.m. in the training room. If you do need a headshot, you must book in advance. Just go on the Team Up calendar and sign up. Book club tomorrow, 2 p.m., Atomic Habits, and Thursday, Landmark Title and Escrow at 1 p.m. All right, so that's what's going on this week. And now we're going to do our April awards.
Yes, we are.
And announce those. I'm going to hand this to you.
The Team Building Summit, not live stream, but is it being recorded? Recorded and will be sent out. So if you want to hear about all the panelists and the great stuff we're talking about at the Team Summit event, we'll share that out with you guys.
Yep. If your name is called, please come up here, and Mr. Andrew Fair is going to take group photos of everybody as they come up.
Oh, that's so nice of you, Andrew.
So nice of you. All
So
right.
let's jump into our awards for the month. I want to start with highest number of conversations. That is going to Angel Whalen. She knocked it out of the box.
Wow, 386.
386 conversations. But let's not forget about our runner-up. We have Peter Benedicto, 326 conversations. I bet you can owe that to the Mojo Dialer. When it comes in, locks himself in the private room and goes at it. I'm really impressed. That's the way to be a winner. And then Zach Dunmeyer, classic 308 conversations last month as well.
Oh, Zach's got some competition.
Yeah. Got knocked out of first place. All right, so with all those conversations, I hope you like to set some appointments. So our leaderboard and number one goes to Jeremy with 11 appointments.
Come on up.
Jeremy, come on up. And we have Sonia, even though she was in Hawaii, she did 9 appointments.
Come on up.
Zach's
That's a
out.
successful agent right there. Goes to Hawaii for a week and still has 9 appointments for the month.
Was Jeremy doing them for you, or you know? Zach Dunmeyer, he had 8 appointments out of those 308 conversations.
Woo! All right, you guys take a picture with Aaron.
We're gonna hang out up here for a minute. We're gonna get the whole team in
Oh,
one
the whole
shot,
team, even
so you
better.
guys can get used to being on stage and stuff. Okay? We're just grooming you for later. I can't do this forever, you know. All right. So highest number of closed units. Justin Perry with 4 units.
Nice.
Guys, still dominating it after all these years. Sonia, 5 units.
Woo! Yep, so you're tied for first place.
Tied for first place with Anthony Burton. He had 5 units as well.
Nice.
Good job, guys. Sorry I got thrown off a little. There's somebody highlighted the wrong one here.
No, it's fine. Look, you see the 2 ones
just
and then Justin in the middle.
All right, the top listing agent for the brokerage was number 1, Justin Perry with 3 listings.
You made it up there too.
Sonia, 2 listings. And tied with Amber Guzman with 2 units as well.
I need to go to Hawaii.
Good job. If you go to Hawaii more, you will not be coming back to these great numbers. All right, our top selling agent, let's jump into that. Anthony Burton, 4 units. Sonia, 3 units. And Zach, 3 units. Great job, guys. Showing all the hard work that happened the month prior to get you here today. So we're going to talk about the Element Award today. This is the culture. I love this. Culture does not make people. People make the culture. Thank you, Jeremy Donnelly.
Woohoo! And Beal's going to talk about Jeremy and why he got this award.
And that's right. Buell, our leadership team voted. Buell wanted to say why.
So as a culture here, we like to be inclusive. We like to help each other out and bring people along with us. And Jeremy does a great job at that, not only letting people shadow him and learn from his strengths, but also sharing his failures, which is a huge part of this. And then he coordinates a lot of events and things for our team that really brings us together and gives us a family feel. So I appreciate that, and thank you so much, Jeremy.
Woo!
Right on,
Jeremy! All right.
And I love this award too, Rookie of the Month. I want to, congratulate Conrad Beatty for all of his work right now. He's been doing a phenomenal job. I'll let you take the microphone on that as well, Buell.
So for Conrad, he's really knuckled down on his conversations. If you pulled the conversation numbers again for today, he would be at the top for the brokerage. So he's really knuckled down. He schedules his mojo time. He doesn't let his appointments get in the way of his prospecting time. So he stays disciplined and stays true to his path. And I think that big things are going to come for him in the near future. You're going to see him up on here with Sonia as top closing agent and things like that, because he's putting in the work now to build that pipeline.
He really is. Great job. Let's give another round for Conrad.
I love that. And we have 3 new members entering the Inner Circle Award based on closed volume for the month of April. Our first Inner Circle achievement is Miss Sonia. So good job. And we also have Amber Guzman and Zach Dunmeyer entering the Inner Circle Award.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for today. I appreciate your attendance coming off a holiday. I know it's hard to get back into the grind and stuff, but We got a full jam-packed week. While we're gone, you kick ass and take names. I appreciate and love you. Have a good week. Thank you.
And can we take a photo?
Bye,
with
everybody at home. Absolutely.
them? Yeah, just them. Yeah.
Just us. Don't worry. I don't bite.
Glare in the back is pretty bad. Turn a little this way. That glare is bad. There we go. There we go. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful.
Cool. Great job, guys. Thank you. Uh-huh.